Now I'm going to strip the leaves off of this beech. Now the way that you strip a leaf off of a beech is you don't pull it forwards towards you. You grab the leaf, grab the branch to support it, and you kind of push it backwards, the reverse direction of how it's kind of looking. And so if you go in reverse, these leaves actually come off quite easily. And so the reason that we have to do this are that beech are marcescent species. And marcescence is when the tree does not form its own natural abscission layer at the base of the petiole where that leaf meets the stem. And so we physically have to come in and rip that off. So I'm going through and I am taking all of these leaves off because the tree won't naturally do it. If we didn't do anything, these leaves would drop off in the spring. However, because we are going to get some snowstorms and because I do want to do a little bit of aesthetic pruning to this tree, right before a snowstorm is kind of the ideal time to come in and get this foliage removed. So I'm just going around, again, I'm grabbing that stem with my finger to support it, and I am pulling backwards in a reverse direction. So we'll go through and get, most of the leaves off of this tree that way. Like I said, we have to do this because we have the snowstorm coming up, and if you get a bunch of snow accumulating on these leaves, it can cause branching to break. Now, we don't necessarily see that in the wild because a beech in the wild is not going to have the density that a bonsai has. This is something we forget pretty often, is that bonsai have such an abnormal, unnatural amount of density. And so because we're forcing these trees to be so dense, it creates issues that we might not see in nature, like the snow accumulating and really crushing branches. So we have to come in and manually remove these leaves. Like I said, it's something that we do every winter just to be able to do our aesthetic pruning and design updates on a tree like this, so we can get a good gauge for it in winter silhouette. But before a snowstorm, that tends to have us rush in any beech that is not yet finished and bring it in and get it done. So this one's easy because it's one of the smaller beech that I have here at RAKUYO. Beech is one of my favorite species, and so we probably have more beech here than any other garden in North America. And I'm super proud of that fact because I just love this plant. This beech here is a European beech, and it's one of 3 different types of beech that I have here at RAKUYO. European is going to be the most friendly. If you are in a place that might be kind of on the edge for growing beech, European beech is a good bet to make. They grow all the way from the Mediterranean coast up to Scandinavia. So they're a pretty versatile tree. European beech used to take over the entire continent of Europe, and so it's pretty versatile. It can grow in lots of different places. If you had a more sensitive beech like a Japanese beech, it might not do as well in hotter climates. Japanese beech tends to sulk a little bit, and so if the tree gets, let's say, too hot, let's say you have a heat wave come in and you don't put shade cloth on it, then the leaves can get pretty damaged, which causes the buds to not form properly the next year. So beech, especially beech bonsai, they don't want to be in full sun. We do need to protect them during the heat of the summer. But yeah, beech are pretty fun. The Japanese beech, like I said, is a lot less versatile than European beech. Although it does have a very special leaf, which is why we love Japanese beech so much. There's another beech that we sometimes see for bonsai, that's American beech. American beech is a great tree as well, but you don't see too many of those. We're just kind of on the pioneering front of seeing more American beech used for bonsai. So if you live in the East Coast, you might see if you can find some appropriate places to collect them, meaning get a permit with the Forest Service or collect on some private property with permission from the landowner, because you might be able to find some beech a little bit more easily if you look for them Yamadori. So we love beech here at RAKUYO, so every year we have quite a bit of marcescent trees to bring in and de-leaf because they don't naturally do it by themselves. There's a couple other species that experience marcescence. The hornbeam family can experience marcescence, especially young hornbeam. So oftentimes in bonsai we'll see Korean hornbeams that don't drop their leaves and need to be manually removed. And other types of hornbeams like American hornbeam as well is not, especially younger trees, they might need this manual removal. So if you have these trees, just plan on a little bit of extra work in the winter to get those leaves off for the same reasons. We don't want snow or ice to crush these overly ramified trees and harm the branching that we work so hard to maintain. So we're just going through getting these leaves off, and then we'll do just a little bit of pruning on this tree to get it kind of situated. One last species of marcescent leaves, or marcescent plants in the Deciduous family are oaks. Certain species of oaks will be marcescent in the spring, and so some of those will need manual removal as well. Alright, we're getting there. Now this tree needs some trimming, and I could have removed most of these leaves that I'm taking off just by going through and trimming, but the benefit of removing the leaves first and not rushing into the pruning, even if you think you know where you're going to be making the cuts, is that this just gives us much more confidence and allows us to see things that we might miss if we prune with these leaves on the tree. So even at RAKUYO, where we have several hundred deciduous trees that we need to maintain, and there's never enough time in the day for any of that, we'll still take the time to manually remove the leaves first. We find it's that important so that you can make the best aesthetic choices possible when you go in and do that pruning and trimming, which is kind of typical fall maintenance. So almost done getting these leaves off. You can see this really doesn't take that much time, and obviously the more refined a bonsai gets, the longer this is going to take, but this bonsai is not really refined yet. This is a young forest that I put together from seedlings I collected a couple years ago. I think this just went through its second growing season, so quite a young forest, and it's a good testament that you can make nice bonsai without having to write a big check. I found a beautiful old beech growing on a church property in Portland, so I sent the church an email to get permission to see if I collect seedlings that their lawnmower was mowing over any year anyway, and they said, come, sure, weed our garden beds for us. So with the permission, I went and started doing some collecting of seedlings every year. Now the fun thing is with this beech is that this is a purple leaf beech, and so you don't see many people in bonsai playing with this with some of these more ornamental plants that look good in gardens and have for centuries. We see this with Japanese maples, with Shishigashira, Sojo, and whatnot, but you don't see purple beech used very much for bonsai, or copper beech. So it's fun to collect seedlings from those trees, because making some little groups or groves or forests or even individual trees, it's nice to pay homage to the fact that those are such a monumental part of the American and European garden. Here in Milwaukee, Oregon, where I live, the town hall, the city hall, has a beautiful copper beech outside of it that must be 80 years old. And so we have so many of these old beautiful trees in the landscape. It's nice to represent those in bonsai form, even if you don't see hundreds of these purple beech growing in the forest. The important point though is that there was a purple beech growing in the forest at one point, and it was a natural variation, but it's a nice way to celebrate that natural variation. So we're going through, we're getting all these leaves off so that we can do a little bit of trimming, a little bit of fall maintenance. So here we have it, our trimmed up, or excuse me, our de-leafed European beech forest.